Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, friends. It's once again time to dive into that tense, terrifying, yet always terrific Twilight Zone. This time with Season 1, Episode 22, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. And friends, with that title, wait no longer we shall. If you could do me a quick favor though and hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and it allows me to alert you next time it's time to journey into the Twilight Zone. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time once again to journey into the unknown with Rod as our guide as we go into the Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 22, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction, and away we go! I love this show.
And it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit
Of his knowledge. God, he's so good. Ooh, I like that.
a tree-lined little world of front porch gliders, barbecues, the laughter of children, and the bell of an ice cream vendor. At the sound of the roar and the flash of light, it will be precisely 6:43 p.m. on Maple Street.
What the hell?
What was that, a meteor?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I didn't hear any crash, though, did you?
No, I didn't hear anything except a roar.
Okay.
Maple Street, in the last calm and reflective moment before the monsters came.
What? Okay, so it's 6:43 on a Saturday. We had an event.
Operator.
EMP, I wonder?
I'll cut across the backyard, see if the power is still on Floral Street.
Alrighty. Uh-oh.
Maybe some kind of an electrical storm or something.
Now, that don't seem likely.
But the thing we
Skies
never
just
had.
as blue as anything. Not a cloud, no lightning, no thunder, no nothing. How could it be a storm?
That guy plays the hotel owner in Dirty Dancing.
Check with the police. They'll probably think we're crazy or something. A little power failure and everybody gets flustered and everything.
It isn't just a power failure, Charlie. If it were, we'd still be able to get a broadcast on the portable.
Yeah,
Take a run downtown. Maybe I can get it straightened out.
car won't work. It's turning over, though. Hey, everybody.
Maybe we better walk downtown.
Now, let's both go, Charlie.
Yeah.
Mr. Brand, you better not.
Why?
They don't want you to.
Who doesn't want us to?
Them?
Them who?
Who are them?
Whoever was in that thing that came by overhead.
How do you know that?
They don't want us to leave. That's why they shut everything off.
What makes you say that? Where'd you get that idea?
Yeah.
It's always that way in every story I've ever read about a ship landing from outer space.
From outer space shit. Sally, you better take him upstairs, put him to bed.
That certainly sounded like outer space shit. I heard it too.
Meteors can do crazy things like sunspots.
Sure, that's the kind of thing, like sunspots. This thing being so close, there's no telling the sort of stuff it can do.
Okay.
Steve, you and Charlie go into town, see if that isn't what's causing it all.
I'm going to stay here and kill everybody.
Mr. Brand,
Yeah, Tom.
Go ahead, Tommy. What kind of a story was it? What about the people they sent ahead?
that was the way they prepared things for the landing. They sent 4 people, a mother and a father and 2 kids who looked just like humans. But they weren't.
The real twist is if it's Tommy.
Well,
like,
I guess what we need to do is run a check of the neighborhood and find out which ones of us are really human.
We're not really going to do that, right?
Wonder if Floral Street's got the same kind of deal we have. See, where's Pete Van Horn? Has he come back yet?
Nothing seems to be working.
Can't even get the car started.
Car started somehow. He got
Well,
his
good
car
news.
started.
Might want to get those emissions checked.
How come his car just up and started like that?
He's an alien.
He wasn't anywhere near it. It just started all by itself.
We should kill Les.
Yeah, why didn't he come out with the rest of us to look?
What do you say we go ask him?
There's no way this can go wrong.
I tried to start it, wouldn't start. You saw me. All of you saw me.
And it stops.
I don't understand.
We do, Les. You're an alien.
How do you figure it started, Les?
Yeah, how do you explain that?
what's the idea, Les?
Wait a minute now. Just keep your distance, all of you.
This is a good way to turn on each other.
What's this all about, Steve?
We're on a monster kick, Les. Now, do you know anybody that might fit that description around here on Maple Street?
This is a gag or something? What is this, a practical joke or
It's
something?
definitely not Les. He's being set up. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Steve, presumably our protagonist.
Really, the whole thing is just weird.
Well, if that's the case, Les Goodman, then explain why you...
But explain why what?
Well, sometimes I stay up late at night.
Oh boy.
Well, a couple of times I've come out on my porch and I've seen Les Goodman here in the wee hours of the morning.
Les Goodman.
That's right, just looking up at the sky as though he were waiting for something. As though he were looking for something.
You know what I'm guilty of?
Moving here.
Well, what's the penalty for that?
I'm also guilty of a Peter Pan complex. I don't know why.
I said it was insomnia. You scared, frightened rabbits, you.
You're sick people, do you know that?
You tell him, Les Goodman.
As God is my witness, you're letting something begin here that's a nightmare.
You're not doing yourself as big a favor as you think by continuing to talk, Les. Oh my God, we're at the intermission. Great setup with this one so far. Oh my God, so good. All right, so we're a little time jump here to the evening times. Uh-oh. Everybody's looking at them. Les Goodman, my wife, Leslie Goodman, our son, Lester Goodman.
Any guy who'd spend his time looking up at the sky early in the morning, there's something that's wrong with that kind of a person. Something that ain't legitimate.
This type of like mass hysteria type of stuff, I can absolutely see happening.
Nothing but candles. It's like going back into the dark ages or something.
Perfect time to invade.
Look, Les, I'm
I've
sorry.
already explained to you people. I don't sleep very well at night sometimes. So I get up.
Certainly not going to tonight.
What I want to know is what are we going to do? Just stand around here all night?
There's nothing else we can do. One of them will tip their hand. They got to.
You can quit sitting there like a self-appointed hanging judge and just climb into bed and forget it.
You sound pretty anxious to have that happen, Steve.
Yeah, I think maybe everything might as well come out now.
What?
Your wife's been doing a little talking, Steve, about some of the odd things you've been doing.
Yeah? Well, go ahead, Don.
Oh my God.
Well, Myra's talked about how there's been plenty of nights you spent hours down in your basement working on some kind of radio or something. Well, none of us have ever seen that radio.
Who talks to you on that, radio set, and who do you talk to?
Well, I'm surprised at you, Charlie.
Yeah.
I talk to monsters from outer space. I talk to three-headed green men who fly over here in what look like meteors.
Steve, please. It's just a ham radio set. A lot of people have them. I'll show it to you. It's down in the basement.
No, we won't show them anything.
Look, buddy, you can't afford to...
Now, Charlie, don't you tell me what I can afford. And stop telling me who's dangerous and who isn't.
Right, yeah.
And who's safe and who's a menace.
What about you, Charlie, if we're pointing fingers at everybody?
You're all standing out here, all set to crucify somebody. You're all set to find a scapegoat.
Great acting.
But believe me, friends, the only thing that's going to happen is that we're going to eat each other up alive.
It's almost like a psychological test. Like there's nothing going on, but they're watching us, you know, tear each other apart. Because obviously something happened when that thing flew over. There must be some type of weird phenomenon.
It's the monster. It's the the monster.
Let's shoot him dead. Somebody ran off or something. Jesus, are you out of your mind, dude?
You're gonna talk us right into a grave. You let whatever's out there walk right over us, wouldn't you? Well, some of us won't.
Oh, it's what's his name? Coming back. Oh my God. Well, Charlie, you're going to prison.
Pete Van Horn.
Pete Van Horn. Well, he was just going over to the next block to see if the power was on.
Charlie, you killed him. He's dead.
I didn't know who he was. I most certainly didn't know who he was.
But you shot the gun at him.
I was only trying to protect my home. Didn't know it was somebody we knew. Didn't know.
Look!
Oh my God.
Why did the lights go on in your house?
What about it, Charlie? How come you're the only one with lights now?
That's what I'd like to know.
If there is an alien group, this is the destabilization.
Maybe Pete learned something and came back to tell us who it was amongst us we had to look out for.
No! No, it's nothing of the sort! I didn't know the lights on, I swear I did! Somebody's pulling a gag or something!
A gag? A gag? Charlie, there's a man lying dead in the street and you killed him. Does that look like a gag to you?
Oh.
What are you waiting for?
Well, come on, Charlie, come on.
Who is it, Charlie? Tell us! It's a kid! It's Tommy! He's the one!
Oh, that's not true.
You just point a finger and make a general accusation, and everybody's like, that sounds legit.
He was the one who knew. How did he know? How could he have known?
Make fun of you now, Tommy!
What's the matter with you people? Now stop!
Steve, you're the voice of reason, bud, so you're either the alien or you're next to die.
It isn't Bob Weaver's place. It's Don's house.
It's the Williams house! It's a kid, I tell you! It's Charlie! He's the one!
Dear God. Oh, they're gonna kill each other. Oh my God.
Understand the procedure now? Just stop a few of their machines and radios and telephones and lawnmowers. Throw them into darkness for a few hours and then sit back and watch the pattern.
And this pattern is always the same?
With few variations.
Look how that looks like it's flickering.
Their world is full of maple streets. And we'll go from one to the other and let them destroy themselves. One to the other.
Fantastic. Wow.
There are weapons that are simply thoughts, attitudes, prejudices, to be found only in the minds of men. And a thoughtless, frightened search for a scapegoat has a fallout all of its own. For the children and the children yet unborn. And the pity of it is that these things cannot be confined to the Twilight Zone.
Oh my God. They cannot be confined to the Twilight Zone. Rod. All right, everybody, we just finished watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 22, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. And the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everybody, we just finished The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, the 22nd episode of the very first season of The Twilight Zone. This reminded me of another movie, and I cannot remember the name of it, but basically the setup is this. It's essentially like a suburban cul-de-sac type of area, and the power goes out. And everybody just thinks, hey, the power's out. And then like that extends into like a day, 2, a week, you know, and they realize they're not getting any information, you know, basically they've been completely isolated. There's no news as to why there's no power. And this sort of thing, like we get a Lord of the Flies type of situation where people start to turn on one another, where, you know, it's almost survival of the fittest type of stuff. And while that's a different emotion evoked from this type of like mob mentality, similar premise in that given enough time and like the alien said, just turn off some shit and they'll eventually kill themselves. I think that is completely correct. The final line where he was talking about prejudice and the ability to basically kill ourselves because of these ways that we view one another could not be contained in the Twilight Zone is a fantastic leave line for that. Oh my God, it's perfect. It's you know, I would love to be able to, Rod tells us, I'd love to be able to tell you that these things can only happen in the Twilight Zone. But I can't do that because this was maybe our most realistic episode. And the reason why I say that is I completely believe that this type of stuff would happen, whether it's modern day and more so modern day. If all of a sudden we lost all mechanical, electrical, whatever would happen to be, all power's out, you can't drive your car, nothing works, motors don't crank, nothing turns over, nobody has anything, and we get no information, bad things are going to happen pretty quickly in our society. Not to get into like some of like the prepper mentality, which I believe me, the prepper mentality is something that I that's a rabbit hole I fall down quite a bit. But the idea of like when the shit hits the fan, like basically what happens after that, you know, a day after we lose complete power, 2, 3, you know, societal collapse type of stuff. This is in microcosm, and it's always great that you're using a neighborhood, or in this case, like Maple Street, you know, about what exactly went on. Now, of course, more details would be great. Why did it take what's-his-name so long to go over to Floral Street and get back? It seemed like it took him hours to go over there and come back, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, they said it was, what, 6:43 on a Saturday? So even if the sun went down, I mean, it looked like it was, you know, broad daylight at 6:43. I can assume it, the way people were dressed, it must have been the summertime. So we're looking at, you know, the sunset between 8 and 9. So he was gone for a good, like, hour and a half, 2 hours at the bare minimum. And so whenever he comes back and they shoot him dead, great, by the way, great foreshadowing with the hammer shot hanging from his loop. I thought that was an exceptionally well done. I thought that was going to come into play as a weapon, which it did, but as a weapon of prominence, you know, as part of all of this. But again, just an interesting way to identify the character coming back a moment before he's shot by Charlie. Really well done. The maniacal nature of, you know, whenever our own imaginations and psychosis and paranoia begin to kind of, you know, reach a crescendo. Now, the one thing about this that I have one question. I have one thing that's kind of standing out to me like, boy, this was really a stretch for the aliens to be able to bridge this gap. There's one item that I'm not sure I buy. Now, the paranoia. Would that have occurred? Absolutely. I don't think it would have occurred nearly as quickly. They would have had to have been out without power for days, no contact, that type of stuff, because they seem to be a pretty tight-knit, you know, community. They knew everybody. They knew what everyone was doing. The idea that Steve had a ham radio in the basement was considered, oh my God, no one knew about that, you know, because they're a neighbor, they're neighbors in a neighborhood, you know, that know one another and, you know, work with one another and talk with one another. So I don't believe we would have had nearly this type of escalation this quickly without Tommy giving his little rah-rah speech about the comic books and how, you know, they send people ahead and do all these things, which obviously the sending people ahead doesn't appear to be correct. You know, the thing flying over was them landing, and them turning the stuff on and off was their kind of, you know, manipulation of the scene. So Tommy's offering of this information, while ultimately it turned out that it was sort of correct, it wasn't 100% correct. To me, the aliens needed that to have this thing happen that quickly. I'm perfectly fine with that because we have a 25-minute episode. We need somebody like Tommy to, you know, expedite the arrival of this paranoia and these attacks and things like that. But again, it just seemed convenient, but not so much so that it bothered me at all. It was just the one thing I'm like, boy, they would have had a tougher time with this without old Tommy throwing around the fact that he's a comic book reader. You know, but it was great. I just think that, I mean, and then Charlie was like, Tommy, that son of a bitch, you know, that kid. And I mean, everybody was pointing fingers, which is exactly, you know, and you're coming off of like the Red Scare and stuff like that too. So it's just absolutely, you know, informing on your neighbors. What about this? I have always thought this about you. You know, all these kind of like shadowed and veiled truths come out that, you know, you're trying to manipulate these weird things that you've felt about people you've been around around all this time, just to kind of explain what's going on. And that is the beauty of this episode. We get this explanation from Tommy, sure, but it is the attacks, the accusations on each other. They want this scenario over. Again, you can just say the humans involved in all this want this scenario over so their minds can begin to come to grips with what exactly is going on. If they can root out who the problem is, who's causing this, once they can kind of separate them from the herd, the rest of the herd can breathe a little bit easier because we figured it out. We don't have to speculate anymore. We don't have to be scared anymore because that's the problem. There it is right in front of us. It's nowhere else. We have it cornered. We're in charge. Without that type of revelation, it's the fear that is in charge. And that's exactly what the aliens were doing. We turn off a couple of their machines and flick their lights a little bit and look what happens. Again, it was done at an accelerated rate, but it's exactly what would happen. It's exactly what would happen if all of a sudden the power went out and stayed out. Just great. And again, Rod understands that too. And that's why he said he would love if this was just confined to the Twilight Zone, but he's sorry to say it is not. And oh my God, just a look, a projection of what society would become with this type of manipulation. Very light manipulation, not like overt, not like, subliminal, nothing like that. Nothing as nefarious as that. This something where our own imaginations are allowed to condemn us. And that is the beauty of this effing show. Fantastic. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and it allows me to alert you next time it's time for a little Twilight Zone. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time to say goodbye from the Twilight Zone. But as we've discussed before in all of our other series, we as the Greek chorus and a reward for being a vitally important part of the narrative get to go back into the episode that we just watched and say goodbye from a scene there. It's our reward, we earned it. But with the Twilight Zone, my friends, we say goodbye as a result of the episode. So my friends, welcome to Maple Street. I hope you don't have any secrets, because if you do, I have a mob that's waiting to question you about them. Friends, until such time as we can travel through the Twilight Zone, guided by Mr. Serling again, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.